After the messy and disappointing Red Death arc, The Flash returned with not another Barry-focused episode. No. It's too sophisticated for that. It's not like it's only episode 6 of the final season. Instead, we return to our regularly scheduled programming. Team Flash does miscellaneous shit for 40 minutes. Hey everyone, SW Nation here. And today, I'm going to talk about the interlude episodes of The Flash Season 9. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter. That's going to pop up on your screen right now. And also that Arrowverse playlist. That link is in the description. And also you could check out that other Flash Season 9 video that I did going over the entirety of the Red Death arc and why I thought it was so messy. With that being said, let's start off with the first episode. Episode 6, The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky. Cecile is the main focus of this episode. And yeah, it goes about as great as you'd expect. Look, I don't hate Cecile. I like her more as a mother figure and someone using her empath powers in the courtroom and helping victims who haven't been taken seriously and are constantly accused of lying. She also worked greatly in season 4 when she used her powers to help against the Thinker. So I liked her character better when it was just that. So Lady Luck is in this episode for the first time since she died in season 4, and she's only here because of the events of Crisis. So the plot here is that Lady Luck has this fiance that mysteriously gets in a coma, and she's blamed for it. So due to her bad luck, she feels like she is to blame for it. So Cecile, being the attorney with empath powers now, believes her and helps her figure out what truly happened with the help of Allegra. Now, do I hate this episode? No. But do I hate the focus on Cecile? Yes. Eric Wallace has this weird obsession with Cecile. Like, she's the true main character of the show and Barry is the side character. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's just what she wears to set. But it's like every single costume that she has or every single wardrobe that she has on the show literally is like a low-cut V-neck shirt with her boobs showing. Literally her cleavage is out in almost every episode. Look, she can wear whatever she wants to wear, but I think it's very weird that in every episode that she's the focus in, or probably just every episode of this season, her boobs are out. What's up with that, Eric Wallace? You just allow that to happen as the showrunner? Look, Cecile is also given a pep talk by Allegra, and to be honest, I can fully understand, from a mother's point of view, how Cecile would feel like she's a bad mom, because she decided to stay in Central City and not go with Joe and Jenna, meaning their daughter has to grow up knowing that Cecile chose the city over her. That makes sense. I like that. There's also some urgency inside of this episode that Cecile just wants to get this case done quickly so she can make it to Jenna's birthday. I understand all of that, but she does know that she has a friend that's a speedster. She can just call him up. It's that simple. But they didn't want to use Barry this episode. I guess they just didn't want to take the easy route or the smartest route possible. But the pep talk is so forced and so not needed in the final season of the show. And an episode directly after the Red Death arc, I mean, come on. Lady Luck finds out who actually put her fiance in a coma, and it was her brother-in-law all along. Okay. Cecile and Allegra help save the day, and Barry returns at the end of the episode. Which means the next one has to be Barry focused, right? Or at least feature him, right? This episode's a 4 out of 10. On to the next. Episode 7, Wildest Dreams. And Barry is not the focus again. Go figure. Nia is the main focus of this episode. And again, it just goes about as great as you'd expect. Eric Wallace has this thing where he constantly keeps trying to shoehorn in Arrowverse characters from canceled shows in every season of The Flash since season 6 to give them a conclusion to their character arcs. Ryan with Batwoman, Ryan Choi with the Atom, Brandon Routh with the Atom, Jefferson Pierce with Black Lightning, and most importantly, Mia Queen with Green Arrow and the Canaries. Green Arrow and the Canaries was a backdoor pilot episode from Arrow Season 8, and the show didn't get picked up in 2020. In 2021, she pops up in the Armageddon crossover, still asking the question, where's William, to Reverse Flash, as if he had something to do with it. I have no problem with Nia. I love her in Supergirl. But I just think, with this being the final season, we shouldn't have Nia Null in here. If they wanted to pull the Supergirl character out, get Supergirl herself. That would have worked fine in the final season. We shouldn't be, and we do not have the time to be doing stories like this. Nia's power set, though, is truly an interesting one. And the lore of the original Dreamer is something I tune in to watch in a TV movie or a limited series or something like that. it's a fairly small adventure with Nia and Iris in a dream world where Iris is the police captain and Barry is a barista. And Barry also references the League a couple of times. There's also a scene in this episode where Keone and Mark have this weird conversation at the bar that Mark and Frost used to be at. It's not unreasonable that he would look at the face of the woman that he loves and brings her to the places that Frost loves. And it's like the guests inside of the bar were also on Keone's side when they didn't even know the full story of it. They just ganged up on Mark because he was some guy who was literally staring at the face of the woman that he loves, and she doesn't even know who he is. I think that whole scene there inside of this bar is terrible. And it just shows that society really jumps on men at the first chance that they get. But it's so weird to have this episode because, again, Barry isn't the focus. And we're in the final season. As a standalone episode, it's fine. I don't want this near the Arrowverse at all. It's fine, I guess. As a part of Barry's final run, it sucks. 3 out of 10. Episode 8, Partners in Time. I actually like this episode. Another one just focusing on Barry and Iris. And they're in a time loop again. And it's pretty okay. To be honest, that's all I can say about this episode. It's just okay. It's pretty strange though because, yeah, the focus is Barry and Iris. But there's like a time traveler called Lady Kronos traveling from 2130 to 2023 for a magnet or something. I don't know. So in this episode, Barry and Iris are getting Star Labs inspected for mold. And the team that shows up winds up in the time loop along with the married couple. Shenanigans happen, their clothes begin to transform into different time periods, and we get some rules and explanations for the time loop, which is a lot better than what they gave us in episode 1. The longer they stay in the time loop, the more likely they are to turn into statues. So we have urgency to end the loop. And stakes because we have people other than Iris and Barry to save. Even to the point where he reveals his secret identity to help them get out of this mess. Wowzers. Yeah, just this is the final season, guys. It's the final season and Barry is giving out his secret identity to randoms. People that we don't even care about. People that we don't see prior to this episode and we won't see after this episode. It's weird. There's also a weird convo that was filmed with serious cinematography but turned out to be completely comedic. And the reason why I say it was filmed with serious cinematography is because it does have this serious feel. I remember seeing this clip on Twitter, but I didn't hear the dialogue, so I'm like, okay, maybe this is a serious conversation between the married couple. But it's just Barry and Iris talking about being parents. And, you know, Iris's ever-growing cravings and baby brain, that's good. But it just turns out to be completely comedic, and it was strange. It just felt weird to me. Hi, S-Dub Nation from the editing room. Yeah, this conversation is not at all comedic. I don't know what I was talking about, so disregard everything that I just said in the beginning. This scene is well directed, well acted, well shot. It's a really great scene inside of a okay episode. Just disregard everything that I just said about this scene right here. Without further ado, let's get right back into it. Chester and Allegra throw around the I love you word, and again, Cecile is in this episode. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. Why not? Put Cecile in this episode. She has nothing to do, but yep, we gotta have Cecile with her boobs out in this episode. Lady Kronos reveals herself, and Barry, without using his powers, talks her into turning herself in, and the time loop ends. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of Barry fighting in this season. He just usually just walks around and, you know, get prepared to be a dad, but I mean, he's not running. It's not his final run. He's not running towards anything. It's just, oh, yep, Nora's coming. Also, I didn't even touch on this. There's a storyline inside of this episode where Keone is supposed to meet Caitlin's mom because Caitlin wants to meet the woman that replaced her daughter. Look, Caitlin died because Keone was born. Caitlin's mother should not be wanting to meet Keone. I don't care if it's the greatest scientific experiment that's ever been created. I don't care. Keone killed your daughter, ma'am. Actually, she killed both of your daughters, Frost and Caitlin. Keone, this whole season, I just don't care. Barry and Iris's chemistry was great in this episode. Not as great as episode 1, but I think the setup and stakes of the time loop was better here than episode 1. So I gotta say, 6 out of 10. Finally, we get to the good stuff. Episode 9 is my party, and I'll die if I want to. Oliver comes back as the Spectre, and he's just walking around alive, after I thought he died 3 years ago in the Crisis event. Pretty strange. But, constantly throughout this episode, I was thinking, maybe Barry was in a dream sequence, so Oliver and Bloodwork just wasn't always there, but he's dreaming all of this. But they were. And I'll explain why Oliver is there. Because he is the Spectre. He's looking for more multiverses. This in turn connects to the Red Death, which basically confirms that there's other Earths out there other than Earth Prime. And I like what they did there. It connected to and answered the question I had to the Red Death storyline, and it left the door open for the idea of the multiverse, just in case they wanted to continue the Arrowverse after this, which they're not going to do. These shows are not profitable at all. But it leaves the door open for the idea of the multiverse, and it's not just Earth Prime anymore. And I like that idea because the fun of Earth Prime is gone now. I think what made me love the idea of Earth Prime when Crisis was out was the fact that we had every hero in one Earth. Every hero was in one city. We have Black Lightning in this area, Flash in this area, Supergirl in this area. So the idea that National City was literally 2 hours away from Central City, the novelty of that was fun. All of the Earths are collided now. All of the cities are in one place. Now it can create for some fun antics. And it felt like after Crisis, the new Arrowverse crossovers were going to be a lot more fun because characters can just pop up. Supergirl could stop in on the Flash every once in a while. Unfortunately, after Arrow ended, after the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, all of these shows got canceled. So the fun of National City being there is gone because they can't cross over. And largely, that was due to the pandemic. But I gotta say, out of all of these interlude episodes, this one is my favorite. I mean, it was marketed as the Arrowverse teams up one last time. And it was great. It came out a day after my birthday as well. So seeing the Green Arrow once again and just Stephen Amell so eager and excited to come back in the final season just made me even more excited. Why wouldn't he come back? The central plot here is that Barry is celebrating his 30th birthday once again due to some de-aging in Season 8, and I thought that was probably my favorite episode of Season 8, by the way. And Sing and Diggle and Wally come back, and just like everyone else says, they feel more like series regulars than the series regulars now. Even Bloodwork comes back, and really, it's great. And Barry dealing with survivor's guilt for Oliver and Frost's death has a huge part to play in how he allowed himself to get killed and corrupted by Ramsey, aka Bloodwork. There's this cool sequence where Barry is corrupted and he's behind the scenes of The Flash, and I think that's something that you can only do in the final season. And it's probably something that you could only do in Legends, but since Legends is canceled, why not do it here? But there's this one funny part. And I didn't see this episode when it aired, so I was seeing this GIF on Twitter, and I literally spat out my drink at the time. It's not funny, but in this episode, it is kind of funny. Barry is walking past a casket, or I think he bumps into a casket, and drops out is Frost's dead body. And look, it's not funny, but when I first watched it, I spit out my drink so hard when I saw it on Twitter. Because I'm like, what is this episode that Green Arrow is in? I thought this episode was Green Arrow's episode. Why is Frost's dead body just thumping onto the ground lifeless? Like, it's so stupid. And Danielle Panabaker directed this episode, but she dropped her own character out of a casket. Like, it was so done in poor taste that I just couldn't help but laughing at it. But going back to the directing, Danielle Panabaker does a great job at directing this episode. So much nuance and novelty of seeing the Flash with the best suit on and the gold boots, and Green Arrow with his best suit on, or one of his best suits, fighting criminals, was all I wanted from this last Arrowverse crossover. And it was fitting that it ended with these two, since the crossovers began with these two. This episode was really great, and it's a 9 out of 10 for me. The interlude episodes decided not to focus on Barry for his final season, and instead they focus on Team Flash doing miscellaneous shit for 40 minutes. We have an episode about Cecile, an episode about Nia Nall, an episode about Barry and Iris getting stuck in a time loop once again, and the last Arrowverse crossover. None of these episodes connects to each other, and it felt like they somewhat knew what they wanted to do with the beginning and the end of the season, but the middle, not so much. This is the Flash season 9. It's the Flash's final run, and we're still giving Team Flash side quests to do that doesn't focus on Barry at all. I just do not get it. You have a shortened season. It's 13 episodes, and you did a 5-episode arc in the beginning. You have 8 episodes left. Each episode could connect to one season per episode. That all culminates in the big Flash finale. This is an embarrassment on the entire season, and besides the last Arrowverse crossover, the interlude episodes were incredibly odd. Alright guys, that is it for the video essay. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. And yeah, I mean, I feel like these interlude episodes, they could be great if they focused on Barry, like episode 9 did, like episode 10 did. If they just focused on Barry instead of Cecile, Neil Null for some odd reason, and a time loop episode when we just had one in the beginning of the season. All of it is just very weird to me. Also, I do know that the finale already aired for season 9. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I have some opinions on it. Yes, I have a review coming out. But I really kind of like this series. Yes, it's more work, but at the same time, it's a whole lot of fun just talking through these episodes with you guys. So comment down below your very own opinion on Flash Season 9. What did you think of the finale? If you don't want to wait for that review that's coming out in mere hours. With all of that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Peace.